definitely on a pound for pound list. And there's been a lot of talk, Bryan, after this weekend. Going into this fight, I said I didn't really care. I'm talking about Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. A lot of people thought Francis Ngannou was just going to go into the ring, probably get knocked out by Tyson Fury, but it turned out to be a controversial split decision because a lot of people thought that Francis Ngannou won. But your thoughts on this bout, Bryan, and how it kind of went?
I have a lot of thoughts on this bout as somebody who bet on Tyson Fury to win by knockout. Obviously, I'm really annoyed. And I just think that Tyson Fury, you he definitely did not take this fight seriously. Like, just watch the fight. Okay, just watch the fight. He did not take this fight seriously. He says he trained 12 weeks. I'm not sure how much I believe that. Um, he also weighed the heaviest he has in his career, which I thought was interesting. Nobody pointed it out. I wonder why it's that. 277 and 3/4 pounds. Like, we know Tyson Fury is a big boy. He's a heavyweight champion with love handles. We know that, this, that, and the third. He's 6'9". He was 277 and 3/4 pounds, the most that he's been for a professional fight. He was 277 in the last Deontay Wilder fight, 273 for the second Deontay Wilder fight, 256 for the first one, which I found very interesting. And then he beefed up because shit, he almost got knocked out the first time, so that made sense. And there was another fight against Sefer Seferi, which that was his first fight back after the retirement, quote unquote, 2.5 years. He was 276 for that. So yeah, 277 and 3/4, and you want to tell me that he was in a 12-week training camp? I'm not buying it. I was watching the fight like, yo, did this guy really train for this? Because I don't feel like he did. That's not to discredit Francis Ngannou. I thought Francis Ngannou was great, but as expected, I think a lot of people were going to have the visceral reaction because Francis Ngannou had the big moments. He had the knockdown. He had the power shots. He gave Tyson Fury a black eye, and he hit him a couple of times. But in terms of having enough volume to win the fight, I mean, Tyson Fury outlanded him in 6 rounds and also, like, landed more punches throughout the fight. 71-59 was more accurate statistically. He just got knocked down and didn't have the flashy moments. And also, I thought wasn't very much taken this seriously. And as Lou DiBella tweeted out, play silly games, win silly prizes. Almost completely embarrassed the sport. I think somewhat did. And there's not a single MMA champion who would knock down a boxer other than Francis Ngannou, because Francis Ngannou is at that level, but also Tyson Fury, I don't think he really took this that seriously, because if he did, and I think he knows that, because looking at the reaction sort of after the fight, if he really trained for this, I don't think this would have been like this close of a contest, because you're not telling me that Francis Ngannou is all of a sudden some boxing prodigy that pushes the heavyweight champion and wins more rounds than Dillian White did against him, that Deontay Wilder did against him a couple different times. Mm-hmm. And I think Francis Ngannou should keep boxing. Yeah, box Deontay Wilder, box Andy Ruiz. But now the test with Francis Ngannou is going to be this. All the dudes that you're going to fight are going to actually prepare and get ready for you. And now we're going to see like how good, I guess, Francis Ngannou really is as he fights other people. But I hope he continues boxing, because he's clearly skilled, talented, and has wanted to do this forever. But I have questions about what happens when guys really now legitimize him, because Tyson Fury looked like he was just playing a fucking game and almost really paid for it.
Yeah, and as for Francis Ngannou, I think we got to give him all the credit in the world. I thought he looked great in the ring, and he was actually acting like the bigger guy in the ring, and it was really confusing at times, because you're thinking, listen, Fury has this in the bag. He's going to go in there and probably get the stoppage later in the rounds. That was what I thought would happen, but it was the total opposite. And right away, Francis Ngannou was being the guy. He was being the aggressor in the ring, and he wasn't scared. And actually, Francis Ngannou was pretty much the guy that people thought was going to go in there and just get laid out, right? That was kind of the consensus. But there was all the MMA people that were like, listen, he actually has a chance. And listen, I have to admit, I wasn't very interested in this bout when it got announced, but I think all the props have to be given to a guy like Francis. As for Tyson Fury, I don't know if he necessarily didn't train at all, but I don't think he took it as seriously as he would like a fight with Alexander Usyk for Undisputed. Like, I think those are two different things. I think this was for the bag. They both got paid. But I think the bigger question leading into it now is, did boxing get embarrassed by this? because now all these MMA fans are saying, listen, like all these boxers can get it, and they're picking all these MMA dudes. And I saw one of Tank and O'Malley. Listen, not in boxing. Like it's a different skill. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. Let's give all the props in the world to Francis Ngannou. He said he's going to do both. He said he's going to do boxing and MMA. He's going to do it both because he looked really good in the ring. Now, if AJ and Wilder can't get it together, and it doesn't look like they're going to get it together, let me see Francis Ngannou and Wilder, because that is a fight I would love to see, especially because, listen, I was proven wrong by Francis. And right away, like when he walked out with Izzy and Kamaru Usman, it was hard not to root for him because the walkout was dope. And the music, like I know it was Drake Godspun. You're not a big fan of Drake, but it was just, honestly, I'm going to keep it real with you. Like to see him walk out with Izzy and Usman, right away, I switched. I was like, you know what? I'm rolling with Francis Ngannou because the walkout was dope. But I think the biggest issue for this now is we're going to get like a bunch of stupid fights that we don't want to see. Like, I don't want to see Tank and O'Malley, but that's what's going to happen. They open the door for stupid fights, and not everyone's going to look like Francis Ngannou in the ring.
Here's the thing too, like if it's Tank and O'Malley, if we do actually get that, which I hope not, but if you're Gervonta Davis and sort of looking around at who you're going to fight next, I don't know. Easy payday against Sean O'Malley would be kind of interesting, because I think he would destroy Sean O'Malley, because
look at this comment that we just got.
O'Malley. Look, here's the thing, like if you're gonna do the crossover bouts, the one weight class where you can talk yourself into a guy having a chance is heavyweight. And Francis Ngannou is a special type of dude who has special boxing like power. Like I think he could actually be competitive against boxers to some extent. We'll see. Again, like when they actually prepare for him and take him seriously, I wonder what that's going to look like, right? If he fights Deontay Wilder, I'd be pretty fascinated on how that goes. But I've seen Deontay Wilder knock out dudes. And also Tyson Fury, I was looking at his past challengers. Francis Ngannou was the heaviest guy he ever fought, 272. I found that very interesting as well.
Yeah.
So there's that element. But in other weight classes, there are weight classes. O'Malley is going to be whatever Gervonta Davis weighs, right? So
Tank is fighting at lightweight. Like he's gonna maybe fight at a catch weight 136 or something, but he's gonna fight. He's not gonna go back up to 140 when you fought Mario Barrios. Like if he was gonna do it, he would have did it already.
And if it's going to be 135, there's not going to be like some sort of size or power, whatever. The only advantage Sean O'Malley is going to have is height and reach, and Gervonta Davis is going to just obliterate him to the body, and it's not going to matter. Like if you do this in any other weight class, if you do this at junior middleweight, Dustin Poirier is not beating Jermell Charlo, regardless of what we've seen from Jermell Charlo. Conversely, none of these boxing dudes are going to beat the MMA guys in MMA, right? Like I don't know how many boxers, can wrestle other than apparently Terrence Crawford, have great leg kicks, apparently other than Amanda Serrano. But like, there's not a lot of like Holly Holmes out there who can do both at a really, really high level. So I don't care for the crossover bouts that much, but like, if boxing's going to be a joke and MMA is going to be a joke, then yes, that opens the door for these crossover bouts and for influencer boxing and all these other things that are actually pretty interesting. So, I'm all for it if it makes sense. And Francis Ngannou continuing to box just makes sense.
Yeah, no. And you know what? He's going to continue to get the bag. Like, why not? We know how much boxers get paid and how much MMA fighters get paid. And it's a pretty big difference. So Francis Ngannou is finally getting the bag, and that's why I was happy. But it opens up doors like Francis Ngannou and AJ. I think Francis got a chance. So I'm like, no, I'm playing around. He shouldn't, but he was outboxing Fury at times.
That's why I think Tyson Fury didn't. Tyson Fury's outboxed everyone he's fought. This is why I'm like, there's no way he prepared for this. Like I made the joke on Twitter, like, yo, dudes usually have training camps before fights, and it felt like Tyson Fury was using this fight as a springboard to his training camp before fighting Alexander Usyk. Like, oh, I'm going to use this fight and then get into camp, because I guarantee you, if he fought Usyk, I don't think he was going to weigh 277 and 3/4 pounds. I don't think that was